Welcome everybody. Yes, it is Wednesday at MACH 2022 and we are on at the NCMT stand, but if you look higher than the branding, we're on the Makino stand. They've got two stands. This is their largest stand ever.
Well, if you look at the technology that Makino actually have, they've bought their best, or NCMT have bought the best solutions for the UK market.
They really
and we're
have.
going to, do you want to have a look round?
Should we have do you want to go on a tour? Now, before we go on a tour, all we want to say is at 9:30 you're going to have a proper tour. That's where we get technical with the team from NCMT. We're just going to give you a little taster. It's Wednesday. We always call this hump day. Do you know why?
You tell me.
It's the hump of the week. It's the hump of the MACH week. So happy hump day, Mark.
I can hear some... I haven't got the hump though.
You haven't got the hump.
If it was
I've always got the hump. I've got the hump.
To be fair, if it was Geo, it'd be ump.
Yeah, because Geo can't pronounce his H's. Right, anyway, let's start. The gents, Andy and Paul, are prepping on this machine, the D200Z. Tell me one fact about this machine, please, Mark.
5 axes, aimed at the mould and die industry. That's 2, sorry.
Okay, well, that's fine. We can move on from there. Let's go. Oh, okay, mind out.
We'll do that.
Oh, we're prepping. No, we love it. Okay, so we've got the EDAF3 heat. Now, Makino is very much more, specialist. They go in very niche areas, don't they?
Yeah, very high spec. Anybody that knows a Makino thinks, okay, I am buying the best kit available. But what you see here is that, you know, a lot of EDM machines, it's a lot of wire, but this is a very, very great sync machine here, and they are selling a lot more of these because the applications within mould and die, within medical, are really pushing, and Chloe's going to be talking to John on this, and has got some great facts about this machine a bit later. She's
prepping behind. She's getting all of the info ready to bring you the best technology
now,
information.
This is my favourite bit, Lindsay.
What's your favourite bit?
It's wire. EDM wire.
Oh, wire, right. I know they've got some facts on some of the wire machines. Colin and Scott over here. Now, which one's the fastest? It's the U6, isn't it?
U6.
But Colin just went me. No.
And that's not true.
No.
This is the fastest machine in the world for a wire machine.
There we go.
And I'm going to grill Scott exactly why that is and where it fits into the industry. But also,
Scott's got the biggest grin on his face as well. He's so excited.
We're also going to be talking about the U3i as well. This is quite a popular machine because of the size as well. But these machines are very accurate. Scott. Well, I followed Scott to some really, really good applications this year, Lindsay. FT Gearing, for instance.
Yes.
You know, they've got 2 or 3 machines at FT Gearing, and the types of gears that they do is mainly for aerospace, so that they'd have to be absolutely on the money.
Massive facility there as well, haven't they? Right, okay, we're going to go round. We have got, well, this is Jake and Will sorting out the live stream in the backdrop. They're the technical guys sorting everything out so we can get the content out to you.
Yeah.
And then, of course, we've got Stuart who's going to be talking about Blue Photon. So Blue Photon is a revolutionary, as I've been told, form of work holding, and it's a glue, but because if you've got some tricky parts and you need that work holding to suit, you can glue your part down, but then the Blue Photon kind of cures it and hardens it, but then it can be undone as well. So it's really interesting, but you're going to find out more. So that's a little teaser on Blue Photon.
It's a great process, actually, because it's very versatile. Also, when you're looking at how much it can hold as well, you'll be quite surprised. How much do you think it can hold in kilograms? Any idea?
Oh, I don't know. 10?
No. But
we'll
someone
find out.
will know. Don't worry.
Someone will know.
Okay.
I don't know. I have no idea what I'm engineering.
When you look at some of the products, you know, that they're showing, this is all about solutions.
Yep.
NCMT actually sell solutions. They're not just selling a machine. It's very turnkey, Lindsay. And obviously with the Blue Photon, they are full European distributors as well. So
I think what they do is very niche, and these are those niche areas in engineering which kind of, we talk about the intelligence that they have, the engineering behind it, and it's those niche areas that they're kind of perfecting and bringing that technology to. Oh, here we go. We've also got the cell row, which is another form of automation. I mean, has there been a stand where we've not talked about automation yet on?
No.
There is.
I mean, this is the thing, isn't it? Is that, you know, everybody, you know, depending on what you're doing, automation is key. You know, it's more productivity, keeps the cost down to a certain extent, and you know, at the end of the day,
it goes dark.
It does actually.
Sorry,
it's
my mum said
the skills that are available worldwide for engineers. Automation is a key to make it more successful.
Right, I just want to one final machine, but you're going to have a proper tour. So, you know, we're loosely talking about these, but we're not the experts on these machines. The NCMT.
Do you know what this one is?
As well, it's the Makino BX3. What do I know about this machine? There's something I can't remember.
Okay, it doesn't matter because this is a hole drilling machine.
That's it. The hole drilling. It's a really, really fast hole drilling machine.
And why do you have to put? So, for instance,
Don't ask me
aerospace.
another one. I don't have the answer.
Power generation is in blades. You need cooling holes, and obviously this optimises that process.
Okay. See, again, niche technology. By the way, hello from Amelie on LinkedIn. Keep those messages coming in. Right, we will be back at past. We are just glossing over everything, but at past we're going to go seriously technical with the team here. So I've said on every stream, we are here to get you close to this technology, as close as we are. I said it's hump day, it's Wednesday, there's still time to visit MACH as well, but this is a little taster as to what you're going to see on the NCMT Makino stand, past. Good morning, everybody. Of course, it is Wednesday at MACH 2022, and we are on the NCMT Makino stand. And what a stand this is. In fact, it's one of the largest stands that you've ever had, isn't it, John?
It is. Morning. Hi, welcome back. It is the largest stand, and our Andy Garrett would have loved us to put a Makino T2 on it. That would have filled the whole thing, but we're focusing on EDM and die mould this week.
You filled it with so much technology, and we said on a bit of the pre-roll just before we started this interview, John, just how much technology, how kind of niche your products are that you can show off. These are some serious engineers here.
Yeah, we've got some real good technology. We've got the U6 heat behind us, which is the fastest wire in the world, and we're sort of that proud of the build quality that we've opened up the back of it so everyone can see inside the machine.
You've taken off the guards, and I think that's a really big deal, isn't it, John? Because if you're taking off the guarding of your machine, you're kind of opening yourselves up for people to see inside. But you're like, no, let's do it. Let's show off our quality.
Yeah, there's nowhere to hide if you take your guards off, and as everyone can see, everyone who knows, look at the build quality, the stability helps with the accuracy.
Now, John, I have a quote. You don't know that I'm going to do this, by the way. So I have a quote because someone on LinkedIn has not long just written in, Max Sturgis has written in saying, fantastic work at NCMT. Thoroughly enjoying these videos. I visited NCMT's stand on Monday, and the knowledge of the team and solutions are unrivaled. So thank you for writing that in. So what do you think about that?
No, that's fantastic to hear, and that's what it's great for us to know that the sales team are getting the message out there. Also, all of our engineers who are on the machines, that they're impressing customers, because that's what we're here to do.
Absolutely. So, John, how long have you been a managing director for?
I've been here for 2 years now. We had a management buyout a couple of years ago. Been a difficult couple of years, but we're now back at MACH, and we want to meet all of our customers, existing and new.
I think you said the word reconnecting on yesterday's live stream. It's really important. Like I said, you've got some serious engineers here that can talk about your technology as well.
We have. It's good. All of our customers, and as I say, it'd be great to see all of our existing customers, see some old faces come in to have a drink with us, and it'd be just to sort of meet the sales guys. Right.
Before we see all the technology, what have you got on the stand, just to give us a little bit of a teaser?
Okay, as I said, mentioned the U6 heat, the fastest wire. We've also got the U3i, which enables us to give a much better, it's got higher quality for a better surface finish. We've got our EDF3, which is a wire sinker machine. And also for the die and mould market, we've got the D200Z, which is a sort of high accuracy, fast 5-axis machine from Makino.
And you've got more technology. You've got the blue photon as well. We've also got automation as well.
Yeah, we've got automation. We've got the D200Z. We've also got the BX3, so fast hole driller. We've got the servo automation, which can load to a number of these machines, and our UV adhesive in the blue photon.
Right. All of the details are on the website if you want to see some of the stats, but you're going to get all of the technical details from the team. So just to finalise, then I think we've kind of got the gist of it. But John, why should anyone come and visit the NCMT Makino stand for the rest of MACH?
Well, come and visit us. We've got a lot of innovative engineering solutions that we'd like to tell our customers, like Max, who obviously appreciate it.
I definitely agree. And for someone, I always think, for someone to write a review or be watching this, so basically, Max, thank you for writing that in, for having to come to the stand, he's been here, and then he's found such good vibes, such education coming to this stand, to then go onto LinkedIn, to want to have a little bit more and to write about you is a huge accolade.
It definitely is, and obviously one of our guys will be in touch soon to sort of take that inquiry further.
Perfect. Right, okay. Now, don't forget, this is interactive, so please ask those questions Max wrote a statement there, but if you've got any questions, please put them in the comment box below, because those questions can physically, literally come through to us, and we can ask the engineers and the technical team those live on the stream. Right, I'm going to head over to Mark, who I believe is on the U6, the world's fastest wire.
Hey, now I'm with NCMT's expert in EDM, Scott Horton. Scott, now, fabulous stand, Makino again, but this is the world's fastest wire cutting machine. Tell me why.
It is indeed the world's fastest wire EDM machine. So the reason behind the world's fastest, obviously, statement that we're obviously telling everybody is we can actually run 0.4 wire on this machine. So predominantly you're seeing in the market 0.25 as a standard wire. 0.4 allows us to apply extra power to the wire, getting those obviously shorter cutting speeds or cycle times with regards to increasing the power that we can put through the wire. The reason we can run the 0.4 wire on this machine is our high pressure flushing pumps and the rigidity of the Makino itself. So the high pressure flushing pumps can pull up much more pressure. You'll be cooling the wire faster. You can apply more ampage to the wire, giving you 2 to 3 times faster cutting speeds in a lot of instances. Predominantly looking at slicing additive manufactured parts off base plates, for instance.
That's quite interesting, actually. And you call this the U6 Heat Extreme, don't you?
Extreme is the 0.4 option. So with Makino, the standard U6 Heat will still offer the high-speed, obviously, flushing pumps. You will still get very, very fast cutting conditions with standard scenarios with 0.25 and 0.3 wire. But the Heat Extreme, obviously part of the statement, is the 0.4, offering a power booster on the side, which takes it then from a 30 amp standard generator to a 60 amp. But you can still do all of your standard work and offering down to 0.1 wire should you require.
When you look at machines that go to, let's say, the extreme, like it's actually named, how does the surface finish apply with this? And also the wire, is it a less wire that you're using?
So less wire, yes, definitely. Again, with the flushing pumps being able to cool the wire on rough cuts and trim cuts, what you're able to do then is slow the wire significantly. What you'd be looking at on wire EDM process would be running through your rollers at around 12 to 13 metres a minute. We're actually running at 9. So in some stages you're offering actually up to probably 30, and in some cases 60% wire consumption savings.
And I know I've done a couple of case studies with you where you are selling these machines into new companies. Now, obviously controls are very important. Now, you use the Hyper Eye control. Yeah. How easy is it for customers to get to know this?
It's very easy. It's very simple. A lot of people now, they know obviously the language that you're using, your G code, your M code. In the background to our HMI, which is our Hyper Eye control, you will still be using those languages. You will still be using those programming terms. So nothing will change with respect to that. It will just be ease of use now for the control itself, offering iPad and the likes and mobile technology for touch, swipe, drag, giving it a bit more of a modern feel to obviously the industry now.
And when I was speaking to one of the customers that's got this, they said the wonderful thing I like about Hyper Eyes is I've got a doctor at the end of it. I presume it's not someone to help you with your medical problems.
No. I mean, if we could have that, that'd be great. I mean, literally, the e-tech doctor on board in a world where we're trying to find skill, we're trying to make it easy for people to use the machine. So on this side of things now, what you have is the e-tech doctor. If you have a particular bad material in EDM, that can quite often happen. what you're having is the ability to tell the machine itself what is the imperfections in your job, be it corner radiuses, any bell mouthing on your form, taper, and the machine will then give you the technology to correct that. You won't have to know the parameters on board to cure it yourself, but you can still do that if you are a little more experienced.
Now, a lot of machine tool builders always like to have the fastest machines, but where does this really apply into industry, Scott?
Okay, I mean, where you can sacrifice a little bit of accuracy, and I'm not talking astronomical amounts here, what I'm saying is if you're using 1-2 cut technologies where surface finish isn't a massive requirement, but obviously speed's imperative that you get those cycle times down. For our side of things, this is where you're going to be going into. The machine itself is really heavily involved with slicing additive manufactured parts off base plates. We're taking sometimes 10-hour cycles down to 2.5, 3 hours.
Now, it's quite incredible, isn't it? But, you know, the whole process of buying the best machine is obviously, it's dependent on the application of what you're actually doing within the company, isn't it?
It is absolutely. And if you've got a good machine tool behind you and you've got that confidence to deliver to your customers what you really want, and you know that first time you're going to get it right, I mean, it's a Makino really that you should be looking at.
Yeah, I'm a Makino for many. I mean, you've been selling Makino brand since 1964, and I must admit the technology has always been at the highest level. Hence why this is the world's fastest machine.
Yep. Yeah. As you said, rightly so. We've been with Makino since 1964. Moved in a very good partnership with ourselves, NCMT, selling their equipment, and you can see how the machine tools have come along over the years. I mean, we go from obviously the machine that you've got here, right the way into more accurate machines where you do need accuracy.
Well, that's a good base, actually. Can we talk about the U3i? Because the whole process about your EDM process is not necessarily just about speed, but accuracy as well.
Absolutely. So there's different sectors of the market where you've got to obviously take it from where surface finish isn't necessarily a requirement to where accuracy and surface finish is key. The machine we've got here is the U3i machine. So the machine itself gives you a little bit extra with regards to what you can hit surface finish, offering surface finishes as low as 0.1 RA in steel, 0.08 RA in carbide. With regards to the Protect plate on board as well, when you need accuracy, you also need to stop horrible little demons called rust in the machining, obviously, or the wire EDM process. Now we've got what is called the Protect plate. The Protect plate is designed around energising your part, where the ions that cause the rusting in the rusting process are attracted to the part and protect it. Okay, during the process, that then eliminates the need for harmful chemicals into your water. That then increases the life of your filters and increases the life of your crystals. Costly, obviously, if you have to keep replacing, but with a Makino, you don't have to do that so much.
I'm glad my cameraman Chris actually got into the machine, because I really wanted to say, you know, can we open the door? But he's already been in there. There's a process that's actually been shown. So, because I think you've got some customers coming to look at this today, haven't you?
There's quite a few coming to look today. I mean, I think we've had so far Monday and Tuesday we've had a brilliant week so far. If I'm honest, with regards to what we've been going through as a country, we didn't know how it was going to pan out. It's been very, very busy. People are very interested in the Makino, and rightly so. It's a very good machine, and it offers a good platform. We at NCMT offer, obviously, our side of things, good support levels for our machines. EDM now is really growing with our company. We can see it being very strong in the future, and we really think that people are looking now. We're starting to sell quite a few of these, and we're happy to do so.
I mean, last 30 years I've been in the marketplace, EDM's always been there, but it seems to be increasing. In your view, being an expert, why is that?
Materials are getting harder and harder now, harder and harder to machine with conventional methods. EDM then, when material is hard, material can sometimes have imperfections. EDM is a must then, really, for your industry. With regards to obviously hard materials, it doesn't matter whether it's hard, soft, or whatever. Yeah, it's metallic. You will cut it. You will get a charge for that part, and you will cut it. Test us.
Well, that's the thing, isn't it? That's what I love about you guys, is because, you know, you can sell a standard solution from Makino, but at the end of the day, you can turnkey it to the highest levels. We
do. I mean, NCMT as a whole, probably, if you look at what we can supply, it's incredible. But probably 70% of our business are turnkey packages. We will take you, obviously, supplying the machine, but we will put a strong engineering team behind it to make sure that when that machine lands on your factory floor, you just have to press go and everything's there for you.
And I've been to the showroom many times, as you know, but one other thing to say about the EDM solutions from Makino is the automation. You can work with a lot of automated cells, can't you, to automate the process, to make it easier, more cost effective?
Yeah, we can, absolutely. I mean, we're taking it from obviously our die sync range, we've also our wire, we can robot load, to have it as a full autonomous process. Light sync machining is key, that's where EDM comes into its own really. Once you've programmed it and you've pressed go, you should be able to really leave that machine and still produce the jobs. Ideally what you want to do, load on the night, come back in the morning and your jobs are done. And with EDM you can do that.
Now, I know the theme of the show, or the stand at Makino, is very much about the die and mould sectors, but you are selling these into other sectors like aerospace and more increasingly into medical, aren't you? We are. Aerospace, medical, as you can imagine, is becoming more and more now. That more needs to be done in future for future developments. We don't know what they will be. So we need to be in those industries. And with the accuracy levels that the Makino offers and the fine tolerances that you require in the medical industry, it works well with Makino. And within the range of, let's say, the Y machines, is this the most accurate machine that you produce?
No, it's not. No. We say this machine is probably a 2-micron machine. We actually have a UP6 heat machine, which offers half a micron repeatability. A very, very accurate work. Not everybody needs that level of accuracy. That's why we have the different, obviously, variants of machine. But if you're looking for, obviously, accurate cutting, I don't think you'll go wrong with getting a Makino.
Now, I visited you, about 3 weeks ago now, and there was a lot of machines in stock, which is absolutely fantastic. But obviously a lot of customers that might be new to EDM, if they really want to sort of actually challenge you with their components, obviously why they should actually buy a Makino, what would be your message to them by taking them to either customers or possibly to the showroom in Coventry?
Absolutely. If you've got any application that you want to be looking at, okay, don't be afraid to come and speak to us. Pick our brains. Let us try and show you why you should be picking a Makino and why you should be obviously looking at this level of technology. There will be a machine that will satisfy your requirements. Come and visit us, give us the material, give us the test cut, and we will actually show you, look, this is what we can achieve, and prove to you that what you're going to be buying is absolute quality.
Well, I could actually say that I've visited 3 or 4 customers recently with Scott, and the pleasure that they have actually working with NCMT, but obviously with your knowledge of EDM, but also your colleagues, is fantastic. But it's not all about wire. Chloe's going to be speaking about the die sync machines that NCMT actually offer from Makino.
Hi, so I'm with John. John, we're at MACH 2020. Have you been busy?
Very busy. It's been a brilliant show for raising the profile of NCMT Makino on the EDM range especially.
So talking about Makino, we're in front of the EDAF3 heat machine. So it's gone in the background. Tell me all about this machine, John.
Okay, this is our EDAF3. It's got heat technology, which is high energy applied technology. A lot of people think die syncing is all about power. It's not. It's how you utilise the power. And Makino have gone down the route of, rather than just throwing amps at a job, tune the amps, make sure that it's efficient, reduces electrode wear, and gives the correct component at the end of the day.
Okay, so you just gave me a few benefits there of this machine. So have we got any others that this machine can offer to your customers?
It can offer lights out production. It can offer correct components every time at a good rate. In other words, we know that when we tell it to do a job, the job will be correct. The surface finish will be correct, the wear rate is low, and the part is perfect on size. And it's every time, it's repeatable.
Okay, so we've actually got a demo on behind us. So John, can you talk us through what this machine is doing?
Okay, at the moment we're demonstrating a rib burn, which is predominantly used in mould tool. Historically, it's quite difficult to do a rib in that we have an issue with crushing condition and also maintaining the form integrity. We've got a high-speed jump on here at the moment. It's jumping at 20 metres a minute with 1.5 G. This enables us to cavitate the dielectric, clear contamination, and get a really effective erosion rate, which reduces the wear on the electrode, again, produces the correct part, and gives you a vertical surface.
Okay, so everybody at the moment on these machines is talking about technology. What other technology have we got on this machine? Okay,
we've got specialised graphite technology. For moulders, we've also got a very, very good technology called flower pattern. Now, historically on a mould tool, the surface of an EDM surface is very grippy, in effect hydrophobic. So if you drop water onto the surface, that water doesn't dissipate. This makes the plastic grip the mould, which means you need high ejection pressure and the mould wears. With flower pattern, we can alter that surface so it becomes less hydrophobic, incredibly slippy. You reduce the amount of ejectors you need. It lengthens the life of the tool. Everybody's a winner.
So everybody's a winner. There's so many benefits to this machine, but you've just told me about lots and lots of technology that's going on. It's really a small footprint. Small footprint for a customer means money on the shop floor, doesn't it? So how have you got all this new technology in a small footprint like this?
It's Makino's ethos. It's built for purpose. It's not just make a machine, it's make a machine that will actually do the job. So it's designed from the ground up. For example, we've got a fixed tank, the movements are at the back of the machine. This aids machining in that, for example, if you've got a 500 kilo part on a movable table, you then put 200 kilos of dielectric and you have to drive that table around, you create inertia. Inertia gives the potential for non-accuracy. Makino don't believe in non-accuracy. It's all about precision.
Yeah, so Makino, quality build machine. So whereabout does this fit in the scale of their machines?
This is a performance machine. We only manufacture performance machines. It's as simple as that. If you want a machine that is fit for purpose, that will give you performance consistently, it has to be Makino.
Has to be Makino. So I've been to your centre in Coventry, and I'm going to talk a little bit about training. So for a novice like me who's just bought one of these machines, how long would it take, not just for like on-site training, like programmer training, but when it gets back to my facility, what happens then with the operator training?
Okay, so historically EDM die sync is a black art. You know, the guys in the corner, they don't say much about what they do. Makino don't believe in that. It's about utilising the machine to its optimum, which means the control itself is very simple to use. It's step-by-step information. Type of material, undersize the electrodes, surface finish required, the program will generate. So for a novice operator, we would offer 3 days training at Middlemarch, which is the basic training. Now we're quite happy that once you've had that training, you can go back and use this machine. The machine is very good out the box, extremely good out the box. Okay? So when you've had that basic training, we'll then follow that up with advanced training because everybody has questions. You know, you go back and it's how would I do this, how would I do that? These guys come in.
I used to have it with training. You used to get back, and even with me, oh gosh, how do I do something like that? So you have skilled operator technicians that can come to my place and basically ask any questions that are going to be answered at a later date.
Exactly, and also on the EDM side, the sales team are ex-apps engineers. We know the product inside out, we know the technology inside out. So you've got not only experience in the applications department, but vast experience in the sales department as well. So we can talk you through the process. We can decide, you know, somebody comes to us and says, we've got an idea, we want this machine. The sales guys can actually go in and say, well, actually you don't need this machine, you need this machine. And that's the benefit of Makino. It's all about giving the customer the right service, giving them the right product and making sure that product is fit for purpose.
And that's lovely to hear because sometimes you hear with customers they haven't got the right machine for the right application. So it's great that you're going into the engineer, basically looking at drawings and making sure that they're getting the right machine for the right job. So what else I want to talk about is we're going to be looking at Paul in a minute about adding productivity to different machines. So adding extras on. I know we were talking about linear rails and stuff like that. So can you tell me what we can add to this machine to upgrade it basically?
I mean, basically you can get a basic tool changer. So you can go up to 30 position ATC. What you can also add is a standalone robot. But that robot will feed 2 machines because we can feed left or right, which means both machines are facing forward. But for ultimate productivity, what you want to be looking at on a die sink is how do I provide the parts for my die sinker? For example, you put something like a D200Z to manufacture the electrodes and the components. Linked to a die sinker via a linear cell. You may want wire erosion. You can add that into the cell as well. You may want a CMM in that cell. It can all be linked and automated with a JMS system, which means you get true lights out production. And at the end of the day, everybody wants to produce as many parts as they can. It makes it cost effective. They're not cheap, they're very good. So let's utilise the time allowed in a working week to maximise production. It's how the industry should be going forward.
Yeah, and I think it's how the industry is going forward as well. And it just takes someone to come and speak to someone like you to realise that having a machine like this in their engineering shop will probably benefit them. Talking about buying a new machine, have you seen customers come back because they've had such great service and they want to add another one to their portfolio.
Yeah, when people buy Makino, they only buy Makino. It's as simple as that. They don't look anywhere else. And also what we're finding from this show is the interest in Makino, because it's not well publicised how good these machines are, and that's why the show has been so good for NCMT Makino, in that people are actually getting to see them, see the quality, see the technology, and see how it can benefit their company. Really important.
Yeah, definitely. So they'll go home and Makino will be in their minds. It will be on the YouTube, and they can look up this video as well. So with this different customers, what industries are we looking at these machines going into?
We can really service all industry. NCMT has got a big history of servicing aerospace. The benefit of this technology, we can go from a small shop that just wants to produce small multiples through to full aerospace, and we can offer solutions for the whole market. And that's a good thing. If you want a one-stop shop, then Makino can offer it to you, and that's what we can do. They can come in, they say, I have an idea for a die sink, and we can say, how are you going to produce the electrodes? I don't know. Well, we can produce the electrodes for you as well. Do you need wire erosion? Yes, we can do wire erosion. Do you need precision hole drill? Yes, we can do precision hole drill. That's NCMT. Simple.
That's so amazing. Thank you so much, John, for the insight in this machine, because I might buy one after all the instructions you gave me.
We'll sort out finance.
Yeah, okay, that's great. So we did talk about earlier about adding and increasing productivity. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to hand over to Paul Jones. He's talking to Andy on the D200Z. So Paul and Andy, MACH 2022, what have we got on offer?
Well done, Chloe.
Thank
you.
Thanks.
Great piece on that machine. Yes, so I'm with Andy here. Andy, could you just introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about this Makino D200Z that we're looking at?
Yeah, so my name's Andy Garrett. I'm the product manager for Makino products in the UK. This is the D200Z. This is a high-speed, highly rigid 5-axis machine, target market die mould.
Let's talk about that application on there, because that is typically die mould, isn't it? Is that really where you're angling this particular machine then?
Yeah, the structure of the machine, the capability of the machine, speed of the spindle, they all target at the die mould, the materials, the hardened materials. But we're seeing more and more actually these sort of machines being used in the medical industry as well.
It's unbelievably quiet, isn't it? I know it's not cutting, but it's probably a strange place to start. But yeah, the smoothness is something else, isn't it? How does it achieve that?
So this goes back to the way that Makino construct the machines from the ground up. The care at every stage to check and make sure the machine's within specification at every opportunity. And this machine has a 30,000 RPM spindle, but it's very quiet. It's also got 54 degrees minute C-axis, so it can position the C-axis very, very quickly indeed.
That's what I would normally describe as like an RPM, but you're describing it as in a degrees way.
Yeah, so it's about 150 RPM. We don't turn on our machines, but we're using that speed, the acceleration of that table, to get the machine in the right position and to be able to hold the position.
I was going to say, because it's about acceleration, isn't it, and deceleration. It's going from point to point, which is what you really need on a machine like this.
And so the Makino's got the Pro6 control, and within that we have the Super GI function from Makino, and that looks after the servo parameters, which gives us the control over the geometry of the machine. So we can make the machine move a little bit quicker, so maybe miss the corner, or we can say we want to be absolutely precise. So we change the parameters and we can make sure that that corner is exactly as it should be.
And what is precise in when you're talking about that in the numbers term?
Yeah, so the machine's programmable to 1/10 of a micron. The standard specification will say this machine is accurate to within a couple of microns. In real life, actually, it's better than that. But we're looking at the micron area of accuracy.
Yeah. What about the tooling on here and the spindle? Because everything has to go together. You can't have a weak point, can you? So explain to me about the HSK that you've got here.
Yeah, so the spindle, as we said, 30,000 RPM. It's an HSK 50. So those tool holders are very similar to an A style, but they're completely cylindrical, so they're in balance all the time at 30,000 RPM. The spindle needs to be totally balanced. So that's why we're using that spindle tooling.
With a part like this, I mean, what is the machining time on a component like this to start with?
Yeah, so the cycle time for die mould cavities can be very long indeed. So this part's just shy of 24 hours. So the machine's in cut for an awfully long time. So the machine has to be very, very stable, both thermally and structurally stable. So Makino spend a lot of time working on that.
was going to say, that's a long time to be machining, isn't it? So if you could be machining all those hours, the machine can't grow, and if it does, it needs to compensate, and that's what we're saying that you achieve here on this product.
Yeah, so Makino, across all their range, they have core ball screws. We also cool and isolate the motor case so that we don't transfer any heat from the motor through to the ball screws. The spindle's core cooled and jacket cooled. At the end of the day, there's a chiller around there that basically manages the temperature of the machine so that we can achieve a cycle time that's 24 hours constant cutting, and the machine hasn't moved.
Now, talk to me about the interface as well that we see here in the control system. What about if I was familiar with FANUC, is the similarities in there?
Yeah, so this is the Makino Pro 6 control, so this is their latest generation. Underneath is a FANUC 31IB, so people will be familiar with that. The G-code's ISO, so everyone will be familiar with that. But what Makino have done is on top of that they've put like a user interface which is a lot more friendly. All the important information is grouped together, and you can move quickly between one thing and another. The tool in the offsets, the actual running page, editing, background editing, it's all available very, very easy.
And is there any diagnostics within here, industry forward, to see how the machine's performing over a long term?
Yeah, Makino have a lot of that. What they're doing now is we collect data from Focus, and we can export that into software so people can keep a track of that. Obviously, all the alarm and maintenance information in there. There's prompts for the maintenance for the operator. All the manuals are there. Everything's on board the machine, but also it's accessible outside of the machine via a software link.
I was going to say you'd need to be programmed something like this with a CAD/CAM system.
Yeah.
Do you want to step this way, Andy, so we can let the camera into the machine again? I'm also quite impressed here with this tool changing system here. This is where you would load them. It's out of the working envelope.
Yeah, so we can load the tools outside of the working envelope, put the tools in and out. This is a 21 ATC. There's options for 40 and 100. Obviously, most of these tools, if they're running for a long time, we might need the use of sister tools, so we can accommodate all of those.
Okay, now the D200Z, is this one of several models within a range? Do they go bigger, small? Just before we actually hand over and talk about some of the work holding aspects from NCMT, let's maybe close on that one.
Yeah, so this is the smallest in the range. So of the 5-axis accuracy machines for the die mould, there's a 300, a 500, and an 800Z. It's a similar concept. So they cover the range from a sort of 200 diameter all the way up to 800. So.
And what are the things you do have to consider when you're machining hard metals outside of just the machine itself?
So we have to the tooling's probably one of the largest in the accuracy of the part. These parts have to be very accurate. The surface finish has to be very, very good. They generally end up as plastic moulds, so if there's a defect on the surface, you're going to see it. So we have to make sure that those surfaces are exactly as the customer wants them to be. Okay,
work holding important too?
Yes, so we've on this machine itself, we're using the Aroa ITS 148, so it's actually set up for automation. We can have a compact 80 on this machine and deliver the pallets. It needs to be very rigid. The ideal is to bolt it to the pallet, which is what we've got here, but yeah, fundamentally, whatever the fixturing is, it needs to be firm and in place.
Okay, so we're at MACH 2022. Come to the NCMT stand. If you want to find out more or see this D200Z. Talking about work holding, let's hand you over to Mark, who's going to be talking to you about Blue Photon.
Well, what technology NCMT have with Makino, but you're only as good as your weakest link. Now, I'm with Stuart Seed now. Now, Stuart, you're the expert in your work holding. Now, Blue Photon is a really, really different process for work holding. Can you explain to our audience how it actually works?
Well, Blue Photon it's a revolutionary work holding system that uses a UV light curing adhesive to hold your component or material in a rigid position very accurately.
Now, a lot of engineers will say, well, I use more traditional methods, but what are some of the numbers that this process can actually hold when it's cutting?
Well, it's quite phenomenal, really, that a single gripper, one of these that mounted in the fixture, will hold an axial load of about 275 kilos of force on a single gripper.
And how does the actual process work?
So we shine a UV light through this gripper to cure the adhesive. It takes around 60 seconds to cure. but once it's cured, your part is then held rigid and ready to machine.
And is this the actual process that we're looking at now? Could you just show our audience exactly how it works?
This is a demonstration stand I've got here. We open it up. Inside we've got our light source and a series of these that we can attach to the bottom of the gripper to provide the light. And as I said, 60 seconds and your part is then held rigid, ready to go in your machine.
So I presume the solution is based in in this solution here, is it?
Yeah, so this is the clever bit. This is the BlueGrip solution, and we apply a measured amount of this onto each gripper and cure it. And then it can, at the end, once you've finished machining, it can be easily removed, which I'm not sure there's another system out there that offers that.
That's amazing. Over 200 kilos of force this can actually use. It's a very simple process. But what are the benefits to traditional methods?
Well, one of the main benefits is access to your component. There's a lot of benefit. Access, you can imagine 4 of these grippers holding your part down from underneath. You've got then 5 sides of access. So you can reduce the number of setups, which leads to reduced cycle times, improved accuracy because you haven't got to reload it into different setups. Another big benefit with Blue Photon is stresses. There's no stress. You can hold the component in its free state very securely and machine it. So then you can transfer it from one machine to another, still in the same fixture, giving you access to all the features you need to machine.
I find it quite amazing actually, but what I want you to show me is some of these components and some of the sectors that they fit into. I mean, if we start with this, I mean, obviously you've got an attachment here. Could you just show the audience?
This fixture here, it looks quite simple, but really we've got 4 grippers holding a very traditional annual U component. But on here with these 4 grippers, we've possibly got around a ton of axial clamping force holding that down, so there's no chance of it going anywhere. But as I said, the 5-sided access means you can complete this component in a single operation.
Now, it's all about different technologies. I mean, obviously you're looking at general medical additive, for instance. But let's take this this part here. I presume that's something to do with the knee, is it?
Again, nice concept fixture here. These parts are traditionally quite difficult to hold, and they need to be held very rigid. Everyone wants faster cycle time, hit it harder. And the Blue Photon here, nice concept. We can locate it on a 6-point nest as you normally would, cure the adhesive from behind, and then you've got full access to get around it without any clamps or cumbersome items in the way.
And it's not just about metallics, is it? I mean, there's a lovely impeller here, additive manufacturing. How does that work with the process?
Well, this is a real fantastic solution for machining these components. A generatively designed component here that very difficult to hold. It's quite delicate in certain directions, so you start putting clamps on this, you're going to bend it, distort it, twist it, and then you've got access problems as well. But here you can see with this relatively simple printed fixture, in fact, we've got a series of grippers that support it extremely well, and you're holding it more than enough force to machine it, so you can complete that. Well, I don't know how else you'd do it. You need Blue Photon for this.
I mean, it's such a versatile product and a work holding solution. From the point of view of different materials, different machine tools, can Blue Photon actually work with any machine tool and any product?
Yes, obviously here at NCMT we're for a wide range of machine tools, but you can use this milling, turning, EDM machines, grinding machines. It'll work on anything. And as for materials, we haven't really found anything it doesn't stick to.
Now, it's quite incredible from my point of view because, as I say, we're all very traditional with, they say vices for argument's sake. You know, obviously that's a traditional method. But why should engineers actually consider Blue Photon for their work holding needs?
Well, I would say it's.
I know I'm putting you on the spot a bit.
Yeah. The benefits are, there's so many benefits. The access, the improved accuracies that you'll get by not having to multi-setups. You don't damage your component. If you're clamping it in a vise and it's a very light, delicate component, a traditional vise is just going to crush it. This, you get the strength, but without any forces. And I say that single operation, reducing the number of setups is a huge benefit.
Well, I think you've summed that out. Actually, to be fair, you know, when you look at the technology that Makino have got, the work holding side, it's all about the actual technology. I mean, hopefully we've given you a bit of an idea of what Makino can offer, but someone's just summoned me. Yes, Miss Vickers.
Thank you, Stuart.
Thanks, Stuart.
Right, I'm going to take you on just a final part of this fantastic tour of the Makino stand. Of course, we did mention the robot here. You know what's really impressive? John was telling me earlier, and I think a lot of you will like to hear this, but they've had a lot of schools coming round as well, really interested in all of their equipment and asking some really good questions. John was actually, you know, a lot of the time when schools come here, sometimes kids might, you know, just be like, oh, it's a day out, but they've had some fantastic questions, like really, you know, engineer intellectual questions all about technology. So, you know, that's a really good thing. You know, the amount of conferences that we've gone to and where we've said we need to get the youth into engineering, well, we are seeing it.
And that's one thing with NCMT. They do invest in a lot of apprentices. I was speaking
they're
to...
on their eighth, I think.
I think, and I asked a couple of them how they actually got into engineering. It's just looking at channels like yours. And it's fantastic. If we're opening up how sexy engineering can actually be to young learners, why should they not come to the industry?
Absolutely. Let's make engineering sexy. Now, just to finalise, I want to show you one thing that maybe we've missed. There's a big chair in front of Chris, so I just want to make sure that he doesn't fall over it.
I'm going to do
We're
that.
going to move it out of the way.
Yeah.
Transparency. NCMT are all about transparency. On their live stream yesterday on the Akuma stand, there was a machine totally stripped down, right? And they've done that exact same thing with U6 Heat. There was a gentleman who worked for the company who said, why are we not showing this off? Why are we not actually showing off what is behind our guarding? Let's have transparency. Let's show why we've gone for this, because of the stability of the machines, talking about the build quality and the accuracy. NCMT are not afraid to show off exactly what their machines are made of. I mean, that's making engineering sexy, isn't it, Mark?
Well, how many engineers did we move out the way to actually show this? Obviously, that's why it's something extra.
Exactly.
But yeah, both Akuma, both Makino, they're showing the insides of the machines as some of our guys at MTD, the guts of the machine, and how wonderfully they're made and why they're so accurate.
Exactly. There we have it. A wonderful stand tour. So thank you so much for watching the NCMT Makino stand. All of our live streams are interactive. Get those messages in. We've had some hellos today. We had a lovely comment coming from Max that we told John about at the very beginning. All interactive. Get those comments in. Get in touch with us. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you.
And finally, what I'd like to say, there is still 2.5 days left to actually visit Makino stand, NCMT with Akuma as well.
Okay, we'll see you very soon. But come and visit us at MACH 2022.